Alright, today in this 2015 Ford F-250 Super Duty Crew Cab, we're going to show you the B&W Fifth Wheel Hitch. Part number BWGNRK1111-5W. Alright, this is what the hitch looks like when it's installed on the vehicle. You can see we're on the driver's side here, and this is a frame bracket that gets bolted to the frame and uses existing holes. Okay. On the ends here, you can see a piece of angle iron here. These are cross rails that goes to the other side. It goes over to the identical bracket on the passenger side. All right, we'll go ahead and, since we're here, we'll go ahead and show you how the handle works. First off, pull out and rotate it forward. It moves very little. And when you're ready to lock it in place, pull up on it and then twist it back towards the back. It's spring loaded and it goes back into place. Okay, let's take a look at the spring in action. Locked. We'll unlock it. Okay, now we'll go ahead and move into the bed of the truck, and we can see that we have our hitch right here, which uses a 4-inch diameter hole, and also our chain loops for our safety chains on our trailer. The top of the hitch is recessed where it matches the top of a corrugation. A couple other notes is that this hitch is designed for a tongue weight from your trailer of 7,500 pounds, and then also for a total gross trailer weight of 30,000 pounds. Now always double check with your truck's manufacturer to make sure it can handle those kinds of weights. Now we've covered some of the features and some of the specs. Let's go ahead and show you how the hitch is installed on the truck. Alright, first thing we need to do is go ahead and get your truck ready to install the hitch. Our first step is go ahead and measure out inside the bed and drill a 4-inch hole for our hitch. We'll go ahead and measure out from the edge of the bed to a measurement indicated in the instructions. Okay, now we got our length from front to rear. Now we'll go ahead and make sure we'll measure from side to side. Okay. Now there's a dimple built in the bed for a factory hitch. However, our measurement came out about a 1/4 inch past. Let's go ahead and drill out our hole. We're going to start off with a 1/4 inch bit for a hole saw. Now at this point is a good time to go ahead and apply something towards the inside edge of the metal here. Since we broke the paint, I'm using a paint marker here. Be rather liberal with it. Get a good coating. That should give it some adequate protection. Okay. All right, next steps to get the truck ready is go ahead and get the spare tire out of the way to help us install it. Also, you want to raise the truck up and let the suspension hang down as far as possible. We're also going to take the tires and wheels off just to make things easier to see, but it's not necessary. Now, for example, with our truck, we had a lift, of course, but you can also raise the back of a truck, maybe by the hitch, with a jack or something like that. But if you have it raised up, you have plenty of working room right here, which you'll need eventually. Next, go ahead and continue underneath the truck, and we'll go ahead and lower our heat shield, and also we'll end up lowering our exhaust as well. We use a 13mm socket to remove the fasteners. All right, now there's 2 fasteners behind the heat shield on top as well. Next, we'll go ahead and loosen up our exhaust so we have enough room to work with up in here. We'll go ahead and loosen up the rubber hangers around the muffler, and then we'll go ahead and remove the fasteners for our hanger in the back. We'll go ahead and spray down the rubber hangers with some lubricant. We'll go ahead and push, pull, pry, whatever it takes to remove them. Okay, all right, this is the front side of the muffler pointing towards the front of the truck. There you go. All right, now we'll go ahead and lower our hanger here. We'll go ahead and remove a bolt here and a bolt here using a 10mm socket and an extension. Okay. All right, now we'll go ahead and gently lower it. Now, depending on your truck too, if it's a diesel, it may have some extra lines in there, so you might want to be careful when you lower the exhaust. Okay. And if you want, you can also add a strap to help support it. We only need a few inches, so I think we'll go ahead and add a strap. So let's use a regular cam buckle strap, but anything can be used just to support it, even a piece of wire. Just keep it moving any more than it has to. Okay, we're about ready to install our cross members for our hitch. We can put it in place and check to see if you can put these in first. Sometimes you may have to go ahead and make a notch in the bed to give you some more working room. So in this case, we're going to have to. Roughly from the edge of a hat channel right here, we're going to measure over about 1.5 inches. Make our mark. And then we'll go ahead and make a triangle shaped cut, somewhere around 7/8 of an inch. We'll go ahead and use some tin snips to make our cut. All right, now we'll go ahead and slide in our first cross member. This will be one that goes towards the back of the truck. And you can tell this is one for the back because it has 1, 2, 3 notches. Okay. All right, so we want the top edge of the angle here pointing towards the back, and the flat part here going towards the front of a truck. Now, when we push our rail through, it'll sit over a shock mount, will come out all the way, and then we'll go ahead and slide it towards the back. Now, the heat shield here tends to get in the way a lot, so it's going to be enough friction, we're just going to just tap it in place using a rubber mallet, and then we can go ahead and scoot it back. There. Okay, after you worked it over a shock tower, you may have to pry around a little bit to help move it with the interference with the heat shield. We'll go ahead and push it towards the back. A little bit at a time on each side. Okay. All right, that'll be far enough. Now we'll go ahead and repeat the same process with the front cross rail. Now when you put your first cross member in, chances are you'll have to unclip this little vent line right here, just so you can slide your rail into place. And then it just clips right back in. Now our front cross rail only has 2 notches. Now we'll go ahead and put a rail in. This time we want this side facing towards the back of a truck. All right, we'll go ahead and get it started. And we'll go ahead and get it over a shock mount as well on the passenger side. Okay, got that side started. Okay, we'll leave those guys alone for now. Now at this point, it's a good idea to go ahead and get an extra set of hands so we can lift up the center section of our hitch into place. Now you can do it from the bottom, but it also helps have somebody from the top to pull up on it. You use a strap, wrap it around the locking bar, and pull it up that way and help hold it in place by the guy in the bed. A couple of quick notes before we install the center section of our hitch. We want to make sure that the locking handle right here is on the driver's side of a truck. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and cover some of the hardware. On the 6 holes that'll hold the center bracket in place, there'll be an 1.5-inch bolt with a flat washer. That'll go through the cross member first, then through the hitch. On the inside edge of our hitch here, we'll install a lock washer and a nut. All right, now this hardware combination will be the same on all 6 holes. Now we'll get an extra set of hands to help put up our center section. First, we'll go over our exhaust. All right, we'll slide it forward. Oops. Now our hitch, okay, we'll go over our exhaust and then over our brake lines right here as well. Okay, and then with extra hands on our strap holding our hitch in place, we'll go ahead and line up our crossbars and install our hardware. Okay. Again, the heat shield is actually providing a little bit of friction, so we'll kind of use that to our advantage to help hold it in place while we install our hardware. We'll go ahead and tap it to line up the holes. All right, install our hardware. Try to get one on each side to help hold it in place. May help to get a pliers or something like that to help squeeze them together a little bit as well. Help guide it up. Okay, one on each side. Go ahead and give your helper and a bed a break. Then we go ahead and install the rest of your hardware. Okay, with all our hardware loosely installed, next I'm going to go ahead and just snug them down, just take up the gap between all the pieces. We'll do that with a 3/4 inch socket and wrench. Now we'll go ahead and work on the plates that go on the side of a frame and connect to our cross members. It'll use this oval hole right here. With this hardware, it'll use a 3/4 inch bolt and this non-special washer. This washer is designed to work with a bracket that's typically located right here. Our truck doesn't have that, but we'll still use this washer in its place. We do need to move these lines out of the way and work it through. Now here's the lines on the inside here, and here's the brackets holding in place. It's just a push fastener, so I'm using a trim panel tool, but you can use a flat blade screwdriver, or possibly just push it from the outside as well to pop it loose. Right. After we're done fastening down our hardware, then we'll go ahead and put our line back up into place. Okay, now we go ahead and install our frame bracket for the driver's side. Our frame bracket's labeled with the instructions on how to use the handle. Before we put it into place, we'll go ahead and install the spacer that comes with the kit over the bolt. Okay, let's go ahead and guide this between the two rails. And we'll go ahead and put this into place. Then we'll install a lock washer and a nut. Okay, now don't be surprised when you line this up, you find it's in a bind. That means you got to take the hitch and rotate it one way or the other. We can just simply tap it or pry it in whichever direction we need to go. Next, we'll go ahead and loosely install some hardware for here and here. The fastener combination will be the same. 1.5 inch long bolt, flat washer, lock washer, and nut. It'll be a bolt only going from the inside to the outside. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and install our hardware from our frame bracket to our cross members. Our hardware combination is actually going to be the same. Oval hole, we'll get the flat washer and the bolt on this side. In the frame bracket side, we'll get the lock washer and a nut. Okay, loosely installed on our driver's side. Let's go ahead and repeat the same process over on our passenger side. The only main difference is that it'll be a different washer on the inside of this bolt. Okay, over on our passenger side, our bolt will get the large 3/4 inch washer. We'll put on our bracket just the same way. All right, we'll go ahead and line up our outside holes. Small adjustments like this, you can probably use a alignment tool or a thick, heavy screwdriver. All right, now with everything loosely installed, we can go ahead and tighten down the bolts and then torque them down as specified in the instructions. We'll go ahead and do our bolts for our center section first. There you go. All right, now next we're going to go ahead and make sure our hitch is square with the truck. What I'm going to do is measure from this edge here to the edge of our hat channel right here. Okay, we'll make sure it's even on both sides. If it's not, we can just adjust it by tapping the hitch forward or backward. Okay. All right, once you're satisfied with the placement of it, we'll go ahead and tighten down our outside bolts here on the end. Then we'll continue on with these 3 bolts. right, now to tighten down our bolt in the center, the 3/4 inch one, we use an 1 1/8" socket and wrench. All right, now we'll go ahead and put our lines back into place that we loosened up earlier. However, these lines kind of end up sitting on the bolt head. I might just go ahead and, as an extra precaution, maybe pull it back out a little bit and zip tie them to this wire harness to help keep them from rubbing on the bolt head. Okay. All right, next we'll go ahead and install our handle. We need to install it from the inside and work our way to the outside. We'll work it through this hole right here. And we'll work it to the outside. And bring it up to our pin right here. Right, it's going to slide behind this tab right here. We'll go ahead and put in our carriage bolt that comes with the kit. And the other side will get locking flange nut. Right, we'll go ahead and tighten it down using a 1/2 inch deep well socket. Next, we'll go ahead and drill out some holes for our U-bolts. Those will work with the safety chains on a trailer. We use the holes that are closest to the hitch ball right here. So we use these two and these two. We'll go ahead and mark our holes with a 1/2 inch drill bit and then go back at it with a smaller pilot bit. Then we'll drill our final hole size from the top down to the bottom. Okay, all right, now we'll go, for our pilot holes drilled, we'll go back at it with a 1/2 inch drill bit. Okay, now we'll go ahead and use a step bit to help clean up the edges around our hole. All right, we'll go ahead and drop in our U-bolts. Make sure they operate freely. Then we'll go underneath and add our rest of our hardware. Okay, now the rest of our hardware will be the spring that goes up into place, followed by a lock nut. Okay, now we'll go ahead and tighten these down with a 3/4 inch socket, and we'll make sure that maybe 1 or 2 threads have passed the nut, and that's all we need. Okay, all right, now our hitch is fully installed. We can go ahead and start reassembling our truck. First off, we need to go ahead and put our exhaust back up. We'll go ahead and push it into place. Let's check for clearance. Now this truck here is a little more closer than I like, so I'm actually going to use a bracket that's intended for the diesel application. Okay. All right, now this is our bracket that comes with the kit. We'll go ahead and attach it to the pre-existing bracket for exhaust. We'll go ahead, install a 3/8 carriage bolt into the bracket, which will go into this hole right here, and install a flange nut. All right, now we'll go ahead and line up this hole here with the built-in nut that's on the bracket. And this is where things get a little bit different. We actually run the 1/4 inch carriage bolt through the bracket and through the nut, and then we put another 1/4 inch nut on top of that. So it does not use the threads on the bracket. We'll go ahead and tighten these down with a 7/16 socket, and then we'll go ahead and do our other bolt. Okay. Tighten this guy down with a 1/2 inch socket. We'll go ahead and push our exhaust back up into place, and then we'll go ahead and take our rubber hangers and reattach them to the muffler, working from the front to the back. Okay, we'll go ahead and rotate our bracket up in position. We'll go ahead and add a spacer right here with another 3/8 carriage bolt. We'll go ahead and line up the pre-existing holes in the frame. All right, and we'll add our flange nuts to the back side and tighten those guys down with a 1/2 inch socket. And it looks like we got plenty of clearance between our hitch and our exhaust. Okay, all right, now at this point we can go ahead and reinstall our spare tire heat shield and spare tire, and for us, our tires and wheels. And I'll finish it for part number BWGNRK1111-5W on our 2015 Ford F-250 Super Duty Crew Cab.